Welcome back. Here's a little tour of another build that I've done. It's got the window modules on it where the windows vent and roll all the way down from the remote control. It's also got remote start with the two-way pager. Fires right up.
We put these LED strips here on the bottom. Give it that good light. Daytime running light, look. Shut down. And then
For this project, I'm going to show you how I got the dash cluster to be very bright. Sometimes at night, these older vehicles, you can't see the lights on the dash. So what I did is add LED strips to the inside of it in order to make it really pop at night. The process is pretty simple. You just have to disassemble a dash to remove the instrument cluster. This one only has a couple of plugs on it, so they're very easy to remove. With the cluster out of the van, I can disassemble it. I have to be able to get to the back of the gauges where the lights are resting at.
okay, so this is what it is. We're gonna end up putting a couple of lights in there. Some Amazon style lights right here. Try to really jam that thing up. Don't feel like there's gonna be enough room in there, so we got that. And with no further ado, let's take her apart. See what we gotta do to do this.
The mounting hardware is just T20 Torx, and the gauges just plug into the rear receptacle, so they just pop out once the screws are removed. Very easy to take apart. If you've seen one, you've seen them all. So I'll just speed through this part just to get to the next piece. I start covering the inside wall with the 3M backed adhesive tape. It's just peel it and stick it. I'm just going to try to wrap it all the way around the inside of here. Since this part is really just peel and stick, I'm going to go ahead and speed it up a little bit too. I decided to do a double wrap so I can get the maximum amount of brightness out of this LED strip. After making 2 passes, I'm going to go ahead and cut the LED spool right here, and then I'll be ready to attach my wires. I'll use rosin core solder to tin the exposed copper from where I cut the LED strip off of the spool. Next, I'll solder on positive and negative wires to supply power to the LED configuration within the dash cluster. Lastly, it's all a matter of just tucking it all back in there. Make sure everything's pressed down tight and the glue is adhering well to the dash. That's it. This is a great stopping point to go ahead and give it a little test. See how bright they really are.
Bam.
All that's left now is route the wire out the back, rinse and repeat for the other 2 gauges. This part is filthy. I gotta clean it. Next, I'll add LEDs to the battery and oil pressure gauges. It's the exact same drill as before. Peel the adhesive off, stick it down. Then tin and solder down the power wires, same as before. I'm going to feed the wires out the back through a hole, just like last time, so that way I can meet them up with their other side and they'll be ready to test. Tests look good. Let's go ahead and reinstall the gauges. Gotta plug the gauges back in, screw them down with the same T20 Torx that we took out earlier. Then I put the cover back on. As long as everything's good and final tight, I'm gonna go ahead and rinse off this lens cover as well, so that way it's clean for final assembly. Now it's just Torx, and she's looking good. Because these two were designed to be separated from each other, I go ahead and solder both pieces outside in the back, slide some heat shrink up, and make sure that that's ready to go. And on to my final test before reassembly. Yep, that looks great. Time to put it back in the van.
No lights. Original lights. Afterglows. That's why we do it. There is a reason why we do it. And that's it right there.
Meanwhile, back in the van, I'm going to go ahead and connect the wires that we ran out the back of the instrument cluster to the factory dimmer switch, so that way you can still control the brightness. I'm going to set it so that the factory lights still light up when you turn on the parking light, so you can completely disable the afterglow style if you want.
So what I've done here is I've got that one transitioned over to be the regular parking light. And it'll come on. That right there for the other end.
Here I've got a smart TV with a Samsung Blu-ray player. I tucked it in this cubby right here so that way it wouldn't bounce around while you're driving, but it's also easily accessible with the TV closed, open, however you need to do it. I'll go ahead and put a disc in there. You can see the picture quality of the TV is really solid.
On a swivel where you can move it around so anybody can see it. else we did on these other switches here. We got the moon lighting. Our vehicle can change colors. It's got a remote here where you can kind of set them to a single color if you wanted. Right? It looks cool if you set it to fade. It just kind of scrolls through all the different colors. You do that, RGB. Turned off. All the way. Got them tucked in there. Also put around the whole outside rope lighting so that the whole thing gets nice and bright, right? Runs off at a door pin. Yeah, just a couple of the things we did.